hasn't betting my league. Saso figure gada. Baby unga hambi.
And we are back. Welcome to another episode of the Nothing But Football podcast. Today I'll be hosting Uncle Curtis. Couldn't let Lucas host today due to maybe his bias when we refer to some of the comments that we heard from referees in recent times, such as Marc Lampard. All right. But on my left over here, directly next to me, is Lucas.
What up, guys?
And then further to left over there, we got Potion over there. How you doing, Potion?
What's up, guys? Hope you're well. A lot's happened in this week, so let's get to it and see. Let's actually crack the nut.
Yeah. So, what you guys get up to over the weekend? Nothing much?
Lockdown.
No FA Cup games?
I caught up. I watched Eat, Pray, Love. And all that stuff.
All right, fair enough. Then let's get straight into it, guys. Did you see the recent comments Marc Lampard made with regards to Klopp, saying that Klopp must stop whining and complaining, that he actually has it. The referees used to be biased towards Man United, but not as much as when Fergie was referee. Lucas, what do you have to say about that, since you're the Man United fan, yeah? And for years, people have been saying that refs favor Man United, especially Fergie.
Yeah, so I think, look, his comments were terrible. I mean, if referees and that are, feeling however they are, but in the same breath, I think his comments showed fear more than bias, right? But it obviously played out to a bias, because what he said was, or one of the things he said was, he refereed a game at Old Trafford when Moyes was the manager and he gave 3 penalties, and he says that wouldn't have happened if Ferguson was there, or something along those lines. So to me, it shouldn't be the case that they were afraid of Ferguson. But to me, it's fear more, and fear plays out in a bias. So I don't mind. But I mean, we talk all the time about managers talking to try and influence the referee. So it's interesting to see it actually worked.
Okay, fair enough. And Potion, what comments have you got to say with regards to those comments?
I'm still trying to get used to sitting in this angle. But yeah, I think what Marc Lampard said was something that's been on every football supporter's mind besides Man United supporters. Everyone has always had that feeling that, the most senior manager will be feared by the refs. It's been Alex Ferguson for a long time. It doesn't surprise me. Like, it's not a shock. I'm just glad that it's been documented now. And these guys who have made outlandish statements that refs have not been on Man United's sides can actually, we've got proof. We can show them the letter now.
Okay, I hear you guys. My view is the same with you guys over there. It's not the first time that Lampard has come out to say such things. I think it's now that Fergie's gone, people are more likely to say such things.
Because the big bad wolf is gone.
He's gone. Because the way, if we look at it, it's like La Liga and Messi. Messi gets away with it because he's a superstar player. Ferguson was the superstar manager. Because, interestingly enough, what Lucas said over there was that refs used to be afraid of Ferguson. Lampard, in his own words, first game that he ever refed, and Roy Keane was the manager over the captain for United. He says he admitted to being petrified of Roy Keane. One of the comments was that he knew it was a corner kick, but Roy Keane shouted with so much passion, right? And he was so loud that he said, well, it's a corner now instead of a goal kick, should I say.
Yeah.
And that's how the bias does come out. Do you guys think that this has anything to do with Ferguson? Did he put undue bias on referees? Was it more than one referee?
Can I say, I actually wouldn't necessarily put it on Ferguson himself as a person. I just think those are the perks that come with being the senior manager in the league. I'm sure if you go look at other leagues, the guy who's been there the longest, obviously if he lodges a complaint against the ref, his is going to be taken more seriously than the new guy. So I wouldn't blame him. I'm trying to be objective here. So I wouldn't blame Ferguson. Although he's the one who probably does swing his weight around the room.
Okay.
But yeah, I think that just comes with your status in a league.
Yeah.
Like you mentioned, Messi throws his weight around La Liga like a flippant tennis ball. So yeah, it just depends on your status.
And you, Lucas, how do you feel about it? Because I have comments, which I think will go contrary to you guys. I think he did do it on purpose, and he's done it to multiple refs.
Intention is something else. Whether it's here, whether the gun is on the table, and you're looking at me, and you're thinking, hey, this guy might shoot me. I haven't pulled the gun yet.
I just want to discuss a couple of comments after that that's been about Fergie.
Yeah, look. I think every time a manager has a press conference and he talks about the referee, we kind of say he's putting pressure on the referee. So, do I think Ferguson put pressure on referees on purpose? I think it's marginal gain. So I think he did. I think he did. From the way he speaks, I don't think he blackmailed referees or anything like that. I think from the way he speaks. I mean, this comes out from Jurgen Klopp was saying, United has more penalties than I've had in whatever. He was trying to do the same thing. To say, hey, ref, if you give another penalty in that game, type of thing. It's pressure on the ref.
Pressure.
Klopp has been trying to do that, actually.
Exactly.
This sneaky bugger. Yeah. He's been, I remember he tried to suggest essentially that, hey, Man United still has the power that they've had. And he was kind of also maybe suggesting, what about me? We're the bosses now. Take care of the boss.
Listen, VAR was theirs.
Okay, fair enough. But then where would you draw the line when it comes to putting undue pressure on refs? I'd like to start with Lucas over here.
Where do I draw the line? I draw the line at what Juventus did. That got them relegated. But if the manager talks and the referee is weak enough, to me that's marginal gains because anyone can do that. Yes, Ferguson was more powerful, so when Ferguson does it, I don't know, it works more. But
and
if the referees are weak, it's marginal gains.
Potion, where would you draw the line?
I don't know, bro. It's a new era we're entering into where your status counts. So I don't think the line has been reached yet. Yeah, obviously I agree with you, Juventus and them. But to tell you the truth, no one's really played on the line. No one's tangled on the line. Fergie has never come out and threatened someone and say, hey, the refs don't do this. Yes, he'll lodge a complaint if you call a decision where he feels like it's not, beneficial to him.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say that there's been anything illegal that's been done.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Let's talk into two comments because I did some research on this topic because my agenda against United and refs. It goes deep. And then it's two former refs, which are very notable comments to me. The first one was Dermot Gallagher in 1997. It was a game away from home towards the end of the season. That's the season that United won the league by 7 points. I think they finished on 75 points. And then Newcastle was
97.
second on 96-97. Newcastle was second with 68 points. Arsenal finished third with 68 points. Fergie, before the game, at halftime came. I think Man United was losing 3-1.
Yeah.
Fergie came and this is what Dermot Gallagher said, guys. I didn't say Fergie said. This is what Dermot Gallagher said to Fergie himself. He came out. Article read Fergie cheeky tactics with officials. He came to Dermot Gallagher and he's like, you should call off the game. And then Dermot Gallagher responded by saying, but there's no official reason as to call off the game. And this is what Dermot Gallagher said. He said you should call off the game. And if you call off the game, because I think it was a muddy pitch and so forth, and then I know there's no time between now and the end of the season where they can fit this fixture in, which means they'll have to extend the season. And that way, United can win the trophy at Old Trafford on the final day of the season. I think United will be behind at that stage. But when you start hearing comments like that, or another comment that also came from Marc, right, former referee as well, he came out on an interview once and said that, I think this is 2013, 2014, that before a game, he went to United. I forgot which game it was specifically, right? I'll put it in the comments for you guys to know so you can read those articles yourself.
Yeah.
And he said that he texted Ferguson before the game.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, this is what he said. He texted Ferguson before the games, which goes against the PGOML rules for refs. You are not allowed direct contact with refs before the games. Just to say, okay, there won't be any problems before the game and so forth. And I think there was a probe into that to see if Ferguson has had contact with other refs. In light of that information, maybe
don't just make up things. Yeah, he's reading stories. Don't make up things.
But I'm saying, in light of that, in those comments where Fergie did have contact with refs, Fergie did tell a ref before, hey, let's call off this game. The game wasn't called off. United drew 3-3. United went to win on the games this season by 7 points. So we're not going to say it was match fixing there.
Yeah.
But would you call that undue influence on refs when you're the only manager who has direct contact with refs against rules that have been stipulated by the FA, and you are telling refs, hey, let's call off games?
So in my opinion, like I say, that's marginal gains. So ref halftime, hey, let's call off the game. I'm making the ref do a Junjuly because the game didn't cut off. Probably the ref was the rest of the game feeling the undue influence or something or whatever. So
what you're basically saying is that Fergie was just taking a chance. It's like,
yes, I think he was playing on the psychology of the refs there in terms of how the ref texting him. That sounds ridiculous, but that is the ref texting him. So I'm not going to blame Ferguson, but that doesn't sound great.
How do you think Howard Webb's chat history looks like?
I think it's clear.
Yeah, no way.
I think it's just his side chicks.
Lucas, you cannot look at me in the face and say, and if there's a ref who said he got texted, or he texted Fergie,
and Fergie replied.
Can you imagine how Howard Webb's one looks like?
No, I'm not going to give it there because look, the best refs generally do the biggest games. So Howard Webb did quite a few of United games, but he was the best ref at the time. Remember, he even does the World Cup final or whatever, just like Klattenberg or whatever, that kind of thing. So look at referee texting the manager. That is ridiculous. I can't give any pass for that. Yeah. Except for that, an investigation happens, like you said, and he's clear, right?
They didn't clear it. They just said we never got the report out.
Yeah. But what year is it?
It was
13, 14, you
13, 14.
When 2021.
That's when the ref...
It must have cleared.
But that's when the ref admitted to it. I can check the article for you, but that's what it was. We can assume it's clear, but we don't have proof that it's been cleared. And this is what I'm trying to get at over here.
Okay. So, fair enough. It looks bad. It looks bad.
So you wouldn't say that Fergie did put undue pressure on refs, especially if you're the only manager who's texting refs against rules.
Oh, wait, but the quote is the ref texted him.
He replied.
And said what?
Let me get the quote for you over here, but you can tell me what you think about that.
Well,
in the meantime,
it is what it is. If it's like they're texting to say, hey, listen, I'm going to give you penalties, but he's texting to say there won't be problems in the game.
Okay.
So I don't know. I'm not trying to shoot at bail here. It sounds terrible, but what does it actually do? What are they saying? Hey, the game's going to be all right.
But who in corruption scandals comes out and says, hey, we're going to do this via text? You shouldn't.
How do corruption scandals get caught?
How do they get caught? Via books of financials and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
But it's never a direct text that you could say.
Okay, so I'll even add to your point a little bit there. The Juventus one, right? Mm-hmm. Juventus gets caught out because they were tapping the Juventus owner's phone for actual tax issues. And obviously in texting his phone, they realize, hey, these guys are sorting out some match fixing. Yeah. So I give you that. The world can go in whatever way, but this, to me, sounds terrible, but
okay. Let me read
it's not the same as
Let me read what Marc Halsey said directly to him. He said, Halsey intervened in Klattenberg's behalf by sending a message to Fergie. I took matters into my own hands and rang Sir Alex Ferguson, asking him not to speak out, he writes. Mm-hmm. Right? He agreed and used his Friday press conference to say he could not conceive of Marc saying such things. I think this is with regards to There's a second over here.
Yeah.
This is with regards to the racism incident that happened at United, where Fergie defended Marc Clattenburg when John Obi Mikel said that he said racist things to John Obi Mikel, Marc Clattenburg. One thing, I took time to gain Sir Alex Ferguson's respect, but in the end, we had a very good relationship. Halsey continues. One thing should be made clear about my relationship with Sir Alex Ferguson. I may have spoken to him a lot and shared texts, but he knew when I crossed the line that there were no favors. Players and managers, but it's against rules, Lucas.
Yeah, it's against
rules.
Yeah,
and then you can say, it's like me saying, how do I put an example? Me and you are friends, all right? If I said I put no undue pressure to help you in a certain situation, and then you got whatever, are people going to believe you when you say there was no undue influence? Is what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah, but then there's public opinion, and then there's right or wrong, guilty or innocent. There's public opinion. Public opinion should look bad from that. That looks bad.
Okay, it looks bad, but
sounds bad.
It sounds bad. I get you on that point over there. But then, even when you go and look at that incident that we're speaking about now, did anything happen to Ferguson, even though he's not supposed to be texting refs? The investigation, they never released the thing, so we don't know if anything happened. An argument could be made that Ferguson is like the golden child for the English FA, being that he's the only successful British manager that we can think of ever since the Premier League became what it became. So in order to continue the pro-England agenda, pro-UK agenda, Ferguson got favourable calls, right?
Yeah, but we're saying this from the outside. Remember, the UK, Ferguson's Scottish. England, Scotland, go look in between that. This is, but anyway, like that article says there was an incident where the player thought the referee called him a monkey, or alleged the referee called him a monkey, right? And then this ref says he texts Ferguson for the next game to say, "Don't worry, there won't be issues." That's in the same thing. He's saying, "Don't worry, there won't be issues like that. There won't be racial, whatever problem." So it looks terrible, but that's not even like he's saying, that text is not related to football.
Okay.
It looks terrible. I can't say any more than it looks terrible. I can't make it something I don't see.
Potion, let me ask you, how do you feel about the relationship that he had with Mark Halsey, Marc Clattenburg, Howard Webb? Does it look like that Ferguson did give undue influence to referees and may have got some of the rub of the green in decisions because he was friends with refs?
To tell you the truth, it feels like we all know he had relationships with refs. There were certain refs he had relationships with that gave him calls. Like, you knew, if it's Howard Webb, United's going to take this.
Okay.
Did you not?
No.
Were there not games where if you see Howard Webb there, you feel a sense of relief?
No.
I'll give you an example. Like me, if Mike Dean is reffing for us, I go, oh my gosh, we're probably going to lose this game.
Yeah, but okay. Also, I don't pay attention to the referee. So if you're asking me personally, do I think the referees aided Ferguson? No.
You don't think they aided Ferguson when we can look to instances where Tottenham, Pedro Mendes' goal crossed over the line, Marc Clattenburg said, "I did not see it in." Instances like that where refs should have given goals but weren't giving goals. Refs coming out and saying that we did favour Fergie back in the day. Whether you think it's due to friendship or fear, nonetheless, United gained the unfair advantage.
Marginal gains, like I said.
Marginal gains. But marginal gains is what win championships.
So like you say, the Tottenham instance, that's a bad decision from the referee.
Okay.
There's been millions of bad decisions from the referee in more than United games. So do I see United games where the mistakes happen as being different to the standard of refereeing? No, I don't.
Okay, fair enough. I think we'll move on from that because I think Lucas is in denial as a Manchester United fan over there. Unless you have any final...
The quotes of somebody...
Like, the quotes of refs.
Aren't even... If that quote said, "Hey, I cheated," and that guy, I cheated with him, then I wouldn't fight this. But this is... There was a game where somebody called somebody a monkey, the referee, so I texted... You shouldn't have texted.
Okay.
That's bad. It shouldn't have been happening. I'm not shooting that bail, but that doesn't speak to a conspiracy for me.
Don't ignore the other article.
Which one?
Where Marc Clattenburg was saying the refs feared this guy.
and did give decisions.
I started off by saying they feared him.
Yeah.
That gave him marginal gains.
Unfair marginal gains, though. If you give him wrong decisions, like the Roy Keane incidents where he gave a corner when he knew it was a goal kick, that is unfair marginal gains.
Okay, then I won't say that's limited to United. Bad decisions are unfair to everyone.
A child whose parent is a gangster and you're defending them now.
No, a child whose parent is a gangster, you know the child.
Your parents killed.
Listen, if
your parents killed.
Is it proven?
Eh?
Is it proven, or is that rumor you're coming to me with?
The refs come out and say, we favored him, we feared him, and we favored him.
The top you're wearing, that man who went missing was wearing it. Your dad killed that guy. That's what happened. The top that you're wearing. That new nice top. Oh, yes. But it's fine. Stay in denial.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah,
Let's go.
But you guys are welcome to chat about what it means to you, but a comment that say there's context even in the same article.
Your denial gives me, like, peace, as in, like, he knows, but now he's just defending him. So it's okay. I think let's move on.
I agree with you there, Poji. Let's move on. Let's go to a game where United have actually won fair and square. Didn't cheat their way out of this. FA Cup happened over the weekend. All right. They played Liverpool. 3-2 game. Was the first time that Liverpool have scored this year. 2 goals. Mo Salah, the person I've been hating on since the beginning of the year, saying he takes too many shots and doesn't score enough goals.
They scored in the last round. I think they have a couple Premier League games.
Okay, Premier League games will go.
I think it's 86 or 87 shots without a goal.
Okay. It looks like it compounded a bad week for Liverpool, where they also lost their unbeaten run at Anfield to Burnley White Lives Matter FC, as Potion likes to say. But we'll get to that game as well. Back and forth game, ended off 3-2. Potion, your comments on the game. How did you see the game going over there?
Which one should you start with?
Let's start with the FA Cup game so we can get those FA Cups out the way.
I'll start with the FA Cup game. I think Man United knew who they were facing. They knew this is not the same. This is not the same animal that won the league. There's problems happening in the back rooms, with injuries and all that. So they knew they were coming to face a weakened Liverpool. Yeah, they got shocked with the first goal, but you expect that from Liverpool. It's a derby.
Yeah.
So they'd obviously try to show up. But as the game went on, you could start to see the holes. Credit to Salah. Took his chances and scored. Other than that, Liverpool's in a bit of trouble now. I'm sure things will come right as the players come back. Because some of the injuries are going to be coming back within the next couple of weeks. So let's see what happens. But right now, I'd be a bit worried if I was a Liverpool fan.
Okay. And Lucas, your game? Because I saw Greenwood scored a goal, Rashford scored a goal. I forgot who scored the third, but
Bruno
Fernandes. Oh, he came on with the free kick. It was a good free kick. First goal he scored against top 6 opposition, so I'm proud of him. I was about to call him on my KDB rant, saying he doesn't perform against top teams, but well done to Bruno. Let's hope he can continue scoring against top teams. How did you view that game as going?
So I thought it was a good game, a good game to watch, especially compared to the 0-0 draw in the league. It was, end-to-end chances for both sides. I think it was, and there was changes to both sides too. I mean, Liverpool had Rice Williams at centre back. Dean Henderson got a game in that. So I thought it was a good game. From a United perspective, I think I do personally think United's got one of the best attacks in England, not player for player, but just the general attack. I think United can score goals. So I think that worked out well. From a Liverpool perspective, I think it was interesting to watch them without Sadio Mane starting. Because I think Sadio Mane is the one that's off form out of the front three. Not playing badly. He's that good of a player that you can't say he's playing badly because his performances hasn't been bad. But Salah's still giving you the goals he gave you. Firmino never gave you goals before. It's actually Mane's output that's down. But I thought
I have a theory. Sorry, not to disrupt you.
Yeah,
but it's a random theory. Why I think Mane hasn't been doing well
Yeah.
Have you seen his hairline, bro? Yes. Dog, I don't know why this guy's not getting a haircut, bro.
That man is holding on, dog.
Like, there's a time, bro. I was just like, bro, cut your hair, bro. Like, don't let it go this far, bro. And then I think it just messed with his game, bro. Like, but I saw during the weekend he got a haircut, so hopefully, with the trim comes fine lines and shots and stuff.
But I think it was a good game. I think United deserved to go through. But it wasn't a clear, victory. I think Liverpool were very much in the game.
Liverpool were very much. And how would you rate Greenwood's performances, guys? Hasn't started the last couple of games. I feel that Ole has been doing very well by taking him out the team, taking him away from the spotlight ever since that England international incident. And then he's slowly bringing him back into the team. Greenwood comes onto the pitch, good finish, scores a goal. How would you rate his performance? Because I even think he gave Rashford an assist. So it was Rashford and Greenwood assisting and both scoring to each other. How would you rate his performance, Lucas?
Greenwood, I think he needed that goal. I think he needed that goal. And look, I think it's second season syndrome. A young guy. When he has played, he hasn't found it as easy as he did last season because now they prepare for him.
Okay.
Last season, it's, hey, who's this? Oh, left foot goal. What? Now they prepare for him. So I think he was struggling a little bit. I think that goal is good for him. I also like how every time Cavani seems to be on him. I think Cavani is taking a shining to him, probably trying to mentor him. Yeah. Can only be good for him. I don't think his performance was that great, but goal and assist will really help his confidence.
Yeah. Okay. And Pushin, how did you feel about his performance over there? Does he look like he's got that Reverend Van Persie left foot? Like Lucas likes to say over there.
He's looking
good. That's the way he controls the ball, actually.
Oh, okay, he's fair enough.
Good. I won't, pull down his pants or anything. But like he's looking good. Liked his performance. For a youngster, especially who's been under scrutiny for being a young man. It's good. Silence the critics for a bit. And can't really say much about it.
Okay, let's go on to some of the other FA Cup fixtures. Arsenal lost against Southampton. Boring game. I watched it. XG had each team having a goal scoring opportunity of 0.0 something, which just shows the lack of football that was played for me. Arsenal lost to an own goal. Nothing exciting about the game. Ocean, did you watch the game? Any players you singled out for bad performances? Any player you singled out for good performances?
To tell you the truth, I didn't watch that game.
Signing off the season, Gabriel? Signing off the season, Gabriel?
With his own goal.
Still signing off the season play?
I think it depends.
Okay.
Like, he just came back from injury.
Fair
so, not everyone's perfect.
True.
We'll just have to see what it goes. I just want to confirm in terms of Aubameyang, who I think was out for that game due to personal reasons.
They haven't disclosed it yet, I believe.
Yes, it was due to personal reasons. I think it is something serious that's going on with him. I have a feeling that rocked the team a bit. And obviously, the other thing that rocked the team is Willian starting.
Down to 10 men whenever Willian starts again.
Essentially, we're down to 10 men. I'm not sure what's going on, but you can see that the personal issues are serious with Aubameyang. That's our captain. All the players like him. So I think that played a part in what happened in that game. How we stepped onto the pitch. But other than that, you can't take it away from Southampton. Southampton have been on form for a while.
For a long time.
Yes. You sleep, they attack.
Yeah.
So, regardless of what happened, Southampton still, they advanced. So.
Yeah, fair enough. You're on that. And then other results in the FA Cup, right? Do you guys want to get into the Man City Cheltenham game? They won 3-1. I don't think there's anything expected. Other results, West Ham beat Doncaster Rovers 4-0. Swansea beat Nottingham Forest. Sheffield won another game. Congratulations to them. They beat Plymouth Argyle. Brighton advanced. Pesutau, I think, started that game as well. Had another solid performance. And then it's Everton who beat Crawley Town, I think, yesterday. I forget exactly who they beat. Sheffield Wednesday yesterday. And then Burnley beat Fulham. Scored 3 goals, Burnley. That came as a surprise. Leicester beat Brentford 3-1. And then we're going to go on to this Chelsea result. Your boy, Frank Lampard, turned out to be his last game in charge of Chelsea, basically. Winning 3-1, couldn't save his job. We should get into that end of podcast again to discuss what went wrong with Frank. Did you guys watch that game? How was it? Tammy Abraham scored 2. Scored a hat-trick. Okay, I didn't see the third goal.
Well done to him.
How did you guys see that game going?
So I watched the highlights of the game, the extended highlights more than the game. Look, it's against, I don't even know who the opponent was.
Luton Town.
You know what I mean? So they're winning a game they're supposed to win. Obviously good for Tammy Abraham to get on the score sheets, but that game didn't teach me anything about Chelsea this season. I think it was a good run out for the squad players and that with the rotation in the team, but against a team from lower opposition, when you're the team that wants to aim at the higher points of the Premier League, it's an expected result to me, and
Okay, fair enough. Let's just look at the teams that did go through, right? It's only Bournemouth that have to play tonight against Crawley Town for the final fixture of the FA Cup. But in the next round, we're looking at Burnley versus Bournemouth or Crawley Town, Manchester United versus West Ham, Sheffield versus Bristol, Wolves versus Southampton, Barnsley versus Chelsea, another lower league opposition, Everton versus Spurs, Swansea versus City, Leicester versus Brighton. Any standout fixtures for you guys over there?
Man United, West Ham, no?
Man United, West Ham, I would say Everton, Spurs as well.
Everton, Spurs.
Yeah.
There was a Southampton something. Southampton Wolves.
Southampton Wolves
is the one I want to say.
So basically the team's going against Premier League opposition.
Yeah. What's the teams I know?
Are you guys still interested in the FA Cup as yet? Do you have a early win as to who you think might win it? Who you think might go out next round?
Look, for me, you can't go past City, right? Because when you're talking domestic cup competitions in England, who's outdoing City in the last couple of years? So to me, it's still City's the team to beat.
Okay, City is the team to beat. And then Lucas, your chances, right? I'd like to get into this for a bit. You guys are playing this game on Wednesday, the 10th of Feb, if I'm not mistaken. But the run of fixtures that you guys have, you're still in all competitions besides the League Cup. So you're in the FA Cup, Europa League, and the League. You're top of the league. Fixtures are coming in hot and heavy now.
Yeah.
You're going to play today or tomorrow. You're going to play Saturday. Then play again midweek. Play again up until the Europa League kicks off. In terms of cup competitions and league, which one do you want to win as a Man United supporter?
Obviously the league, right? Obviously the league, and I think the fixtures coming thick and fast has been the case this season. And I think Ollie has handled it well in terms of he's been rotating the team. I think even the FA Cup win against Liverpool, that's Dean Henderson in goal. That's Donny van der Beek getting his first start in a long time. Greenwood probably getting his first start in a long time. And central midfield, I mean, there's Fred, McTominay, there's Matic, there's Pogba. I think there's room to rotate the team. Even up front, there's Martial, there's Cavani. So he's been rotating well. I'm just maybe worried about the defense from a rotation point of view. But other than that, the league is my priority, obviously. I think the league shows you the level of your team. Cups is the level on the day.
Okay, fair enough. Potion, how do you rate their chances? Do you believe Man United have the squad to take on all three competitions? Do you think that maybe Ole might chop and change and play a weakened team in the cup competition, concentrating on leagues? And if he does, do you think that he has the team to make it all the way to the end of the season in the league?
I feel like Man United do have the squad to perform in all the cups. The question is, will you get the player in the right mentality in any of those, the rotated players? Will you get a Bailey in the right mentality? Will you get an Alex Telles in the right mentality? Will you get a Fred in the right mentality? Will you get a Martial in the right mentality? Because it seems as though they're moving towards a Cavani at the front now for the wise ahead. So will you even get a James who decides to perform? That's what I'm saying. It all depends on that. But right now they're looking good. You can't deny Man United are looking good. Champions League's coming back.
They're in Europa.
Oh, sorry. Oh.
They joined us.
Oh, wow.
After they won.
I forgot about that.
After they won 3 games and thought they'd make it through.
I forgot about that. But yeah, you see, Europa is going to suck some energy out of that squad.
And it's against a good Real Sociedad squad. I think they're top 4 in La Liga right now.
They might have just dropped out, but they were riding second for quite a long time. Yeah.
So
they might have just dropped out the top 4.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you look at that, they've got a cup game against West Ham.
Arsenal
Arsenal's this weekend. You look at those fixtures and you think to yourself,
then I think it's Southampton followed by that.
This could be a make or break period for United.
Okay, fair enough. And reports that I've been reading ever since Darren Fletcher got promoted to Man United first team squad. Yeah, 5th of January got promoted. And what has been said by some people is that Darren Fletcher has come to coach World Cup winning 4-time Serie A champion Paul Pogba. And that's the resurgence in why Pogba is better defensively, has done more recovery runs. Lucas, what are your feelings on that? Do you think it's Darren Fletcher who got there and started making Pogba run back? Or is it just Pogba's in the right mentality towards the end of the season because he's a proven winner and he senses that he can win something?
Yeah, I think I'm giving the praise more to Pogba, obviously. So Pogba's season, right? Pogba obviously doesn't. United didn't have a preseason. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
And then Pogba came back from having coronavirus, right, in the 6-1 Tottenham game. After that, he was on the bench a little bit.
Okay.
Pogba described it as the hardest time in his career because he's just trying to get over the effects of COVID.
Okay.
But Oli and Pogba have a great relationship with themselves. I think Pogba has been playing better. Hopefully Darren Fletcher helps, but it's not Darren Fletcher in 2 weeks. Pogba's been on form for a couple of months.
Yeah, it's been on form for a while now.
Okay, approaching your comments on that, you also not feeling it's Darren Fletcher because I think Pogba has come back.
I'd even go as far as to say Fletcher has nothing to do with that.
Yeah, fair enough. I don't know where people got that from, but that's the thing that's been going around now.
No, he's got nothing to do with that. Come on, bro. That's ridiculous. I'm sorry. Like a guy can't be there for 2 weeks and you give him praise, bro. Come on, bro. Like, no. Seriously, bro. Like,
give Oli praise.
You could really give Oli praise because Oli's been the one, while everyone's been bashing him, Oli's been on Pogba's side saying, bro, this guy's a good player.
Yeah.
So to decide to give it to Fletcher, for what reason, I don't know. It's like, come on, bro.
That's it.
Go to hell. Go to hell, bro. Seriously, go to hell.
Okay, then let's go back into last week's Premier League fixtures, right, that we missed. I think let's start with, because I think I want to end with the Chelsea game, right, because that was the final nail in the coffin that most probably got Frank Lampard fired. All right, let's go look at first the Man City Aston Villa game that they played over the weekend. It took Man City up until the 79th minute to actually register a goal to win that game 2-0. And then Ikwai Gundogan penalty in the 90th minute wrapped it up to be 2-0. How do you guys rate that Man City performance? They were at home. It was against Aston Villa. Aston Villa are high flying this season. Because you could argue that this season's Sheffield United.
I guess you could, yeah.
How do you see that game is going? And I think they're a point or two behind Man United now with a game in hand.
Yeah.
How do you also rate their title chances? Let me start with Lucas over here.
So that game wasn't the best Man City you've seen, but that's typical Man City when you say that and they've got the 3 points. You know? So that game, I'm not sure if it's the first or the second goal where it's the where it's the defender's back pass or the ball touched the defender.
Second goal was a penalty. Second goal was a penalty by Ecuador. The first goal was Bernardo Silva.
So one where it's a deflection from the defender and the player was already offside.
Yeah.
But then the refs came. There's a new rule apparently.
It's always been there. But
it's always been there. If it's get a deflection off, no, has it been? These refs are terrible. They pick and choose.
No, but I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I think in the past that rule was if someone's making a pass and a defender is trying to block the pass, it should still be offsides.
I think you're right on that one.
But
I think you're right.
Now, because the defender touches, it doesn't matter how he touched it, whether he passed it back or whether whether it was a deflection. He was essentially trying to stop the ball. But now they've called it a goal. I think that's a rubbish rule. Yeah. I understand it, but I think it's a rubbish rule.
Yeah, I think it's one of those rules where intent comes into play again. Like, if I don't know if the intent is to play the ball backwards from the defender, and then the ball gets taken. That's not offside.
I think that's a rule that will come under scrutiny as we go.
Yeah,
because that can't happen again. If essentially you're fighting a line and then they try to put the ball behind the defenders and in between the defenders and the goalie, and you try intercept, and then there's a guy already offsides. Now you can just waltz and go score.
Yeah,
like that's a bit harsh.
Yeah, that's a bit harsh.
It's to do with the intention. If the defender's intention is to send the ball backwards, then it doesn't count as offside. But how do you judge intention? I think that's another one that will be so contentious every time it happens.
Yeah.
Okay, and then sticking with the Wednesday fixtures over there. United beat Fulham 2-1. Pogba again, a man of the moment. It was Fulham that went up in the first 5 minutes to lead 1-0. It's Cavani equalizing the 21st minute, and Pogba got the crucial goal in the 65th minute.
Beautiful goal.
I didn't even see the goal, I think I fell asleep early that night.
Outside the box with his left foot. Curler.
Juventus days, you basically say. Sure. All right. How did you see that game going? Was that a lucky Man United win? I don't know because I didn't watch the game. Is this the sign of champions? Because they're grinding out results. It was first, I think maybe Burnley or another lower team over there that United got a 1-0 win against to push through. And they grinding out the results. I thought they were going to lose Liverpool twice or draw and beat Liverpool in the FA Cup. But it's draw and beat Liverpool in the FA Cup. And they remain top of the league. Playing Arsenal this weekend, but first West Ham. If they go past through this test, then City might have a tough time. How did you guys find that game going?
The Fulham game, I would say Fulham started very well. They scored, and I think they did the mistake that many of the small teams do. Once they scored, they decide, okay, sharp, we're in an advantage, like a position of advantage. And they just decide they're going to not necessarily park the bus, but play more defensive. And I think they fell into United's trap. United does this week in and week out. No, not week in and week out. But we've seen them do it throughout the games week, where they go down to a lower team, and essentially the lower team kind of challenges them as like, hey, we're not going anywhere. You come to us, and United will come at you. So I think Fulham made that mistake of just deciding to go and defend, and then Man United just came at them.
And Lucas?
Yeah, look. I thought it was a good game. Typical United this season. United has conceded the first goal quite a few times this season. I think United's got 25 points from losing positions.
Do you think they can keep that up?
No, it's not sustainable to always concede first.
Okay, fair enough.
It's really not. But as a performance, United always this season starts the game slow. United in the first 25 minutes is hardly ever anything. Hence, they're always conceding goals. But I think it was a very good performance. I think it was a tough game. Fulham was exactly like you said. They sat back and that, and it was interesting to see how United picked that apart. Obviously, Pogba was very, very important in that game. Even after the game, they were asking him, you've been in this position, they were basically asking him about it. So you're saying, players like Cavani they know the situation. Rashford and the other guys, they're still learning. He was actually saying, in this position, you have to show your arrogance. You're on top. Show your footballing arrogance. Like, know that you're going to win the next game type of thing. And I think his performances lately are kind of showing that. I think if he can stay fit and strong like this, as the leader.
And then let's move on to what Manchester United failed to do in the league, and that's end Liverpool's unbeaten run at Anfield. Just to give some context to this fixture, Liverpool versus Burnley. They've played each other 13 times in the Premier League, right? Liverpool have 9 wins in total, 2 draws, and Burnley have 2 wins in total after the result. It's the first time Burnley have actually beat Liverpool away from home ever in the league, according to these stats. And then when we look at the match stats of that game, right, we are looking at Liverpool possession, 72%. Shots on target 6, shots off target 27. Liverpool had as much shots on target as Burnley had shots in the whole game. All right. Touches 857, passes 686, 12 corners to 0, offsides 1, Burnley 6 offsides, 2 yellow cards to 1, and Liverpool conceded more fouls. Is this indicative of the lack of creativity Liverpool have faced this season, where they don't get clear goal scoring opportunities and XG has caught up with them, where they were outperforming it early on in the season?
Yeah. So in my opinion, no. Right? I think this game, it's down to the changes Klopp made. Origi was starting. It's actually not even down to that. Liverpool still played well. Liverpool still dominated the game. Origi, the defender, somehow put some ridiculous back pass in. Origi 1-on-1 with the goalkeeper hits the post. Liverpool had chances, and it's a penalty they lose by. I think the changes in the team kind of say to me that loss. It was maybe a bit arrogant, but I mean, they had United coming up in the FA Cup.
Even considering that Liverpool strikers in the league haven't scored this season, Potion, do you think those changes were warranted? Do you think they weren't warranted?
I actually disagree with you there, because I think if that Origi goal had gone in, it would have changed everything.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yes,
Liverpool were the better team.
would have changed everything. At that point, I feel like it would have changed everything. And I also feel like Burnley, like, outmuscled like Liverpool. They got in their heads, because I don't know if you saw the scuffle between. It started on the pitch and then went with the coaches. Coaches had a scuffle, not a scuffle, but like an exchange in the tunnel. Yeah.
Can we just note how many of those happened with Klopp? But go on.
Yeah, of course. He's a low score. I agree.
When Mourinho is out there saying that Klopp is too passionate and he gets away with things, I tend to agree with what you're saying over there. It does happen quite a few times.
Said, he gets away with it essentially because
he might be the new age Fergie.
He's not angry. He's passionate, you know. So, but from that half, like, Burnley they were more physical in that game, and once you give Burnley a chance, they'll take it. They're just one. Yes, they're just one of those teams, and they're a team that can pull off the defending, and they'll park the bus.
Okay, I'm gonna give you guys my opinion from just looking at stats over here, because I actually didn't watch that game, right? I'm gonna take it back to what Lucas loves to say when Mourinho does a masterclass. Just because you had more possession and more shots on target doesn't mean that you necessarily control the game, all right? And when I look at these stats over here, it will seem to me it was like a Mourinho masterclass almost, because you're looking at Liverpool having 27 shots at goal, only 6 are on target. Burnley took 6 shots, have 4 on target. They get a penalty goal. 1 offside by Liverpool, 6 offsides by Burnley over there. I don't know how close those offsides were. Were they marginal calls? Weren't they marginal calls? Right? And then Liverpool conceded more fouls, 11-8. So even when you just look at that, it looks like it was a solid defensive performance. They got their one chance. They took it. And Liverpool this year have been struggling to score goals. Yeah. Have been struggling to create clear-cut goal-scoring opportunities. So up until they maybe get their defenders back, this is what we're looking at a Liverpool team. We're not going to see anything much. hopefully things do turn for them, but we'll see. But I see you want to say something over there, Potion.
I think they're also struggling in the midfield. The midfield's not working out.
Which means
no Henderson in that game.
Which means we
no
could
Henderson, so Thiago's the holding midfielder. Thiago, I don't know why. It feels like he's been left alone by his two other midfielders, in Shaqiri and Wijnaldum. They're traditionally the more attacking, they're more attacking players. So I think they leave what's his name? They leave Thiago alone, and Thiago plays the more predictable moves all the time of giving it to Trent. Then Trent gives it to Salah. Salah's just there, what must he do with it?
Okay.
So I think there's a problem from a creative aspect of the game. They've lost Fabinho, who would normally be the guys side by side, helping you move the ball up. Henderson as well is gone, who traditionally can play both roles of attack and defense.
And box to box. Yeah.
Yes, he's a box to box midfielder.
Okay.
So I think, the injuries you can see they're affecting their playing style.
But I see you talking about Thiago over there. I think we should speak about Thiago a bit. He came from Bayern Munich. It was before we started recording the podcast. I remember saying that Thiago might not necessarily fit in perfectly into the Liverpool system, even though he is a quality player himself, though. And then an argument could be made that, to me, Thiago doesn't fit the way Liverpool are playing. And when you look at his performances this season, every game he's played for Liverpool have basically lost or draw. All right. Is Thiago the right fit for the Liverpool midfield? Considering when you look at the Liverpool midfield, you're looking at players who are runners, players who are workhorses, to give Salah, Mane, and Firmino the freedom to express themselves creativity. So now you have a midfield of Thiago who's there, but he's not going to run as hard as Henderson. He's not going to tackle as hard as Fabinho. He's not going to run as hard as Giorgio Wijnaldum. Right? So is he the right fit, do you feel, for Liverpool? Because no doubt in the player's quality, but does the player's quality fit into the Klopp system? Or is Klopp got to find a way to make that work?
Yeah, Klopp has to find a way to make that work. So I know you guys might disagree with me, but I consider Liverpool a counter-attacking team, Klopp's style, right? Because his style is high pressing. It's when your defense has the ball, we press you high up, and therefore it's quick transitions, right? Thiago is a ball player. He wants to feel the game. He's going to have the most passes in any game from anyone, right? So then when you have that, you kind of slow down the game a little bit. Now, typical Liverpool game is they're having 70% possession. So I understand why you bring in Thiago, but there's a adjustment period because 70% possession all the time, it's kind of still hard to be a counter-attacking team. So you have to start getting onto the front foot and all that.
Okay, Potion, let me ask you this. Early on in his career, Thiago actually played more of an advanced role. Do you think that will be better suited to the Liverpool team, where they move him away from the deep line midfielder to control a midfield like Tladi and so forth? And then he plays a more attacking role where he did score more goals. He did put through more direct assists early in his Barcelona days. And then they moved into that deep role. Because I think he was playing that role because it was Busquets in the team was playing that deep role in Barca, and they had to push him up more forward because there was no point in having two players who play that same role, and he was fighting for a position which Tladi at the time was coming towards the end of his career. Do you think that's a solution maybe, that Klopp can say, okay, let me try and move him a bit more forward so that he's a bit more quicker with the passes into the final third?
No, I'd actually disagree because Thiago at Bayern was also playing the holding midfielder role. It worked out perfectly for Bayern. I just think the problem is we're not living in a perfect world where there's no injuries. If Thiago was playing alongside Fabinho and Henderson
And Van Dijk.
I think that system would have worked out perfectly. But now he's had to adjust with playing with attacking midfielders next to him, which kind of changes the playing style. So I think it's just unfortunate that the crucial players in the Liverpool squad are injured. If that hadn't happened, I think we'd be having a different conversation about Thiago right now.
So you're going to give him a chance up until Liverpool get their first team squad back,
Yes.
and then you'll judge him according to his performances over there.
Yeah, I'd even go as far as to say I don't have to judge him. I think he's a seasoned player. He's done this throughout his career.
Yeah.
You put him there with the right guys, he'll deliver.
Okay. Speaking of new signings that might have let their managers down, let's move on to the Leicester versus Chelsea game. The Frank Lampard agenda is back, ladies and gentlemen, and I was right. He got fired, deservedly so, in my opinion. But let's talk about that Leicester versus Chelsea game, which turned out to be basically the final coffin in Frank Lampard's managerial career at Chelsea. How do you guys view his job done from start to finish at Chelsea? Let me start with Potion over there. Do you feel he's done a good job overall?
Okay. I'll assess it from two parts. His first season and his second season.
Okay.
I think his first season he did a great job, considering that he was working with young players who had come from various places, were being loaned and all that, and he actually turned them into a decent side. Second season was a little bit more difficult because now he bought a lot of players, a lot of Champions League, quality in Timo Werner, Kai Havertz, and Ziyech. I don't know, for any manager, that would be a difficult task to get those three to gel together.
But then wouldn't that be on him as a manager, though? Because he's the one who, supposedly assume he's the one who wanted those players. To try and bring in so many new players when you had a system that worked for you the season before. Instead of building on that, he got Werner. Now you feel that Giroud and Tammy Abraham are fighting for a place. They're worried about their thing. You get Ziyech and you still got Pulisic to come back from injury. So shouldn't you have built on the last season instead of going for so many new signs?
Yeah, I actually agree with you there in you saying that maybe he should have kept the squad that he had. Because his looking at Lampard's coaching career,
it's a very short one.
It seems he works better with the youngsters and not the superstars of the team. Because this was his first season essentially dealing with the superstars.
Okay.
He's got Timo Werner here, he's got Kai Havertz, he's got Ziyech, and he's also got superstars in his team that are already there, that feel that they belong to play. Like, belong in the starting lineup.
Interestingly enough, that's one of the reasons why he might have been fired, but we'll get that into that. I want to get Lucas's opinion on his managerial career overall at Chelsea.
I actually disagree with a few of the points Potion made. First of all, his first season at Chelsea, the consensus is he did great. To me, let's look at the squad he inherits. The squad he inherits finished third and won a trophy. Then he finished fourth, less Hazard. He did what he was supposed to do. His job was adequate. Yes, they had a transfer ban, but they had the same squad and pulled back 7 players from loan.
And they did pre-signings for that. Pulisic was one of those players that's pre-signed.
Pulisic came in the January transfer window. And if it's a miracle he finished fourth, what about the teams that finished outside of the top 4? Any of them should have been there ahead of Chelsea?
No.
Miracle is a bit of,
Oh yeah. Sorry, I'm embellishing. But he took the sum of the parts and finished where they were supposed to finish. Right. This season, the guys he signed are not old. Sorry, Werner's young, Havertz is young. If he's the young player managing his assistant is Jody Morris, who handled Chelsea's youth system when Chelsea kept winning youth cups or whatever. But I think he did okay in his first season. This season, I mean, even something as simply as he had a very big squad. When other managers come in, more experienced managers, they come in and they say, I'm working with 25. You're out of my squad. Go train with the other team so that you don't disrupt my squad. Ozil, whatever. You know, however you look at it. But now the reports are saying Antonio Rudiger and Aspilicueta and whatever, would get into fights or whatever. That, to me, I read that as not great management. And just lastly, a question I'll put to you guys is, What was his style of play?
He tried to
18
be...
months, I'm not sure.
Fair enough.
He did rotate. He's now playing from the wing backs. There was a time he'd play through the mid. Then he'd play with his wings in Timo Werner, Hudson-Odoi, and Ziyech. He's very dynamic. He does what he wants.
I'll give it from my point of view. I've never liked Frank Lampard. I believe that he was overrated last season. Because even when the media backed him, when he was doing well, you could see the Chelsea cracks. They were conceding too many goals. Yes, they were attacking. Even this season, you saw early on with the cracks before Thiago Silva came into the team. You can't go 3-0 up against West Brom and draw 3-3 and expect to win the Premier League. That was teams in the past where if you went 3-0 up, if you're not winning the game, then you'll see what happens over there. But interesting comments have come out ever since he's been fired. A quote that I saw that made me laugh a bit since Frank Lampard lost his dressing room was a lot of pundits were defending him, especially English pundits, saying he should have been given a chance. And I was laughing at that because he spent 300 million, and if a foreign manager came into the Premier League and spent 300 million, right, and did not win a trophy, you get fired. Chelsea have fired managers for winning trophies.
Yeah.
All right.
Look, I think the timing of firing him doesn't make sense. So I give that school of thought that says they possibly fired him too early, because to me it also doesn't make sense.
Do you think there was...
He's 5 points off top 4 in a crazy season.
Wasn't it because maybe that the German manager who got fired by PSG was on the market that maybe Tuchel, that they maybe thought, okay, maybe now's our time to move.
Yeah.
Then we can at least get a clear definition of play.
Yeah.
But comments that have also come out, like I said, the AVB comment, he said that the players had no part when Frank Lampard was a player. The players had no part in getting him fired. Maybe the job was too big for him. Maybe he was just a bit too young, but we've done everything that we've asked and he got fired. Right? When you look at the comments defending Frank Lampard, they're saying the players have let him down. Do you believe the players have let him down? Or is he just not good at man management? Because even when you read articles like at The Athletic, he was fighting for players like Declan Rice. The board said you can't get Declan Rice. Apparently, somebody in the board said that he wanted to get rid of Kepa earlier because he's not working. And then they told him, no, you must put an arm around him and guide him because he is, after all, the top signing. So you could argue that politics have let, his handling of politics at that side of the game have let him down. He also asked for Shea Given as a goalkeeping coach who he had at Burnley. And they said no to that. And apparently he didn't want Werner or Havertz or all those other players. He was looking for more English core of players who he tried to sign, which he didn't get. Apparently he wanted Abu. I don't think he was ever going to get him. But that's what it was. That's what they said in the Athletic. Do you think politics let him down? Do you think it's his fault? Or does he go down like Andres Villas-Boas? He created a power dynamic that Chelsea did back in the day that got Andres Villas-Boas fired, and the culture that he created got him fired now.
I think him wanting an English core, I don't know if this is how he feels, but it looks like he wants players who would
die for the badge.
Essentially they would respect him, because an English youth would come and literally kiss the ground that Frank Lampard walks on. Which is what happened at Derby County. He was working with English youth supplied by Chelsea, a lot of loan players that he got from Chelsea and other generous teams. Okay. I feel like that's the angle he was going at. He wanted those players that would, realize who he is, go along with his vision easier than the foreign players. Because that's what I'm saying. Although Timo Werner and Kai Havertz are young, they have a different mindset. If you don't talk the right, football terms, if you sound like you don't know what you're talking about, it's easy, to be, cut off by them as in, do you have faith in this manager?
Yeah.
So I feel like, some of the foreign players that he clashed with, that might have been the case. Because he clashed with Aspilicueta, he clashed with Rudiger,
Kepa
he clashed with Kepa, he clashed with Timo Werner, he clashed, you're clashing with all the foreign players.
Yeah.
So clearly, you're more suited to managing the
Lucas,
English players.
And your comment
The
on that?
Burnleys, the likes of Burnley. You can go make a career at Burnley.
I believe you'll be a good manager in the
You'll be a
championship.
great manager at Burnley.
I think it's a bit harsh, right? Because if that's what he wants, an English core or a Premier League ready core, that's a good decision. If he's asking for that, I'm not mad at him asking for that.
Declan Rice, though.
Declan Rice,
He's
yeah.
a top 4 player.
But what
He
team
can
are you,
be.
what team are you playing at? Did Chelsea go for the global superstars?
Yeah,
Chelsea are trying the Los Galacticos
yeah,
of the new age Los Galacticos.
yeah,
They don't play that way.
yeah. So
And he should know that as well.
100
Coming from that background.
100%. So look, in his time at Chelsea, it's not enough for me to say whether he's a good or a bad manager because
If we include Derby County into that?
Derby County overachieved with Derby, right?
He didn't get promoted.
They didn't get promoted, but at the start of the season, did they expect to be in the?
Fair point.
They didn't. So he overachieved. I think with then what he did with what he got, like I say, his first season, I think he did what he's supposed to do, right? His second season now, when he gets fired, there's a whole raft of new signings, right? Those youngsters that he finished top 4 with last season. So we're questioning him talking to the board about the signings he wanted. The players that got him top 4, where are they? He's not playing them. Fikio Tomori is about to go on loan to AC Milan.
I think he is there now.
And sign off.
With a permanent option of permanent.
Alonso, who was a fantasy point king at the start, at whatever last season, he's benching. Whatever he's benching. He also switched. Werner not scoring goals for however many games, Werner still played. So it's a new league for players to come into, but how many players must adjust altogether? Sorry, he could have
Found a better way to...
integrated them. I mean, look, he always gets compared to Oli. The only reason is because they're both legends of their clubs, but Oli actually managed for 10 years. Oli is actually seeing the situation and he's managing the players. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. To me, I don't write him off as a manager because we haven't seen enough. He did what he was supposed to do last season. To me, he's getting fired too early this season. So I don't see a lot of bad, but I can't tell you about the good because I didn't see it.
But then the question,
don't know what his style of play was.
The question should be, should he have gotten the job in the first place? Because when I look at it, right, I feel he got the job because they brought back a Chelsea legend knowing that they're not going to get any transfers. And they fired Sarri because as much as Sarri won a trophy, I don't think they were happy with the direction that he was taking.
Yeah, they weren't happy with the style of play.
Right? And I'm not sure true fans about Chelsea fans if they love Sarri that much or they just remember him. Yeah? And then they took a gamble to say, okay, let's bring a club legend back, even if the season goes pear-shaped. Fans won't get upset, and then he buys us a year at least. Do you believe that could be the case? That he got brought because he's a club legend and it would steady the fans, making them happy in the short term?
To tell you the truth, I think he was Tazara. Where was he going? No, seriously, dude.
I agree with you.
Lampard was offered positions in the Premier League. He said,
bruh, I'm not ready. I just, I'm starting a rhythm with Rangers. I'm going to take time here.
Oh, Gerrard. You mean Gerrard?
Yeah, sorry. No,
Gerrard is what you were trying to say.
Yes. No, I'm talking about Gerrard.
Steven Gerrard doing well at Rangers. He's doing very well.
Okay. Forgive me there. So at Rangers, he decided to stay there and kind of perfect his craft rather than move to a big club. And then that's where you're still learning. So he chose to learn here, then learn on the job.
Yeah. Lampard
decided, look, I couldn't promote Derby County, so I'm going to decide to go up to Chelsea and I don't know what.
Look, even to your point to Steven Gerrard, sorry, cutting you off. Steven Gerrard at least takes over Rangers having coached the youth team or whatever of Liverpool. Frank Lampard was a pundit and then took Derby. And then a year later took Chelsea. I'm sorry, guys. His CV is mine.
Yeah, I'm not going to argue. You know how I feel about Frank Lampard. I believe he got that job very fortuitously. He got into management very fortuitously. I don't know if you guys have any parting comments on this week's episode with regards to Frank Lampard. Will he get another job? I see the media machine is already working in his favor. They're making excuses for him left, right, and center. So he can get a job by end of season. But otherwise, you guys, how do you guys feel about that?
I actually think he'll be a decent manager, so I think he'll get another job.
I believe he'll be a good championship manager like his uncle.
For me, I hope he learned one important lesson as a manager. You don't come in and spend 300 million on your first transfer window, essentially. Like that's like you're putting your head on the plank there.
Okay.
It's suicide.
Yeah. Look, I even saw some reports saying, it's not his signings. The Chelsea machine signs the players. But Salah is not Klopp's choice. Klopp wanted Julian Brandt. The club said, here's Salah. He made it work.
Exactly.
And he did accept the head coach role, so he should have known what he was getting into over there. But otherwise, guys, that's another episode of Nothing But Football Podcast. What episode are we on now? Episode 9? 10? 9.
Yeah.
I hope you guys please do subscribe. From my side, it's Uncle Curtis saying goodbye, and we've got Lucas over here.
Peace out, guys. Paul Pogba.
Random. Very random.
And then we got Potion over there. Say any goodbyes for the fans over there, Potion.
Alright, guys. Hope you guys have a good week. Let's hope from a South African point of view that restrictions are lifted and we can enjoy beverages in peace.
Okay, fair enough. From my side again, guys, goodbye. Ferguson bought 3 titles. We saw this with the ref comments.
Yeah, the other 10 were legal then. So.
We are some betting my league.